with so much joy, almost as much as when we're in our RV. Oh, the world is your oyster, kiddo, and ours too. Now that we're covered with Progressive, Dad and I can hop in our RV anytime we want. Might even splurge on a retractable awning. Ooh, look out. Sorry, what was I talking about?
Protect your loved one with an RV policy from Progressive. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
That's why I can help you go for 2 by combining your home and auto insurance. It's a great call that saves you time and money. So go for the win and score savings by combining your home and auto with me, State Farm Agent John Wright. It's just another way we're here to help life go right. Call me, John Wright, at 815-725-5052 today.
Advent Health has partnered with the University of Chicago Medicine to combine clinical excellence and whole person cancer care close to your home. Our network of specialists offers the latest treatments for all types of cancers. We prioritize personalized care, tailoring our approach to meet each patient's unique needs. With leading-edge technology in our hands and compassion in our hearts, we're moving together against cancer in the western suburbs. For more information,
your heating and cooling needs at Menards. Keep cool this summer with Pelonis air conditioners. Pelonis has the perfect air conditioner for you. No matter what size the room, Pelonis has you covered. With an LED display, setting the temperature is a breeze. Pelonis' 10,000 BTU portable air conditioner is now $275.89 after 11% rebate. Good through August 13th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
EDGYTIM is here. Coach Rod is here. The best high school football fans in the state are here. It's time for Pigskin Preview. Coaches, players, fans, and experts. You get them all right here on Pigskin Preview. Powered by State Farm agents Kevin Malloy and John Wright.
Gee, I wish that was a little more epic. Welcome back, everybody. If you're sitting in traffic off of 55 or 80, or just sitting in your car wondering, what happened to my usual programming? Yeah, sorry, we're back. We're here to haunt you for the next 15, 16 weeks. Welcome to Pigskin Preview. Coach Joe, our 22nd season. Wow. Of Pigskin Preview. And look at us. We get younger and better looking.
You got that.
That's why we're on YouTube, because we should be. So.
Oh, you should be, not me.
No, you should be, sir. Welcome back. EDGYTIM here along with the one, the only, the absolute legend. He's such a legend. He was able to miss the coach's show.
Remote area.
Because he was on location and unavailable, but he's back. Ladies and gentlemen, the coach, Joe Rodegaro.
Good evening, Edge. Evan, I know it's been in the dials. It's good to be back in the saddle.
Always good to be back in the studio. Of course, as you mentioned, Evan Bredesen is with us. And as always, Joe, this show, and seems like every darn show we've done, has been sponsored by our great friends and State Farm agents, Kevin Malloy in New Lenox and John Wright in Joliet. Like a good neighbor, Joe.
State Farm is there.
And want to thank them for coming out last Thursday to the preseason coaches show. That was a lot of fun. And, again, just glad to be back. Glad to have football back and see. We love doing the coaches show. It's a lot of fun, but This is the one I really like because now we get to break things down. We get a little more critical than we were on the coach's show.
Yeah. Everybody has a good time on that coach's
we
show.
do. We will be here for the next 2 hours breaking down IHSA football, both locally in the WJOL listening area as well as statewide. And Joe, I know I've got some things we want to talk about. I know I do. I know you do as well. Our schedule is as follows. We're a little bit open here, so we might have some open phones a little bit later. 6:25, Matt Harding from Minooka, the head coach of the Minooka Indians, will join us. Joe, that is our game of the week. 7 o'clock kickoff on Friday. Rock Island, the Rocks make the trip over east, coming in from the Quad Cities. About a 2.5 hour drive, probably.
If it's right off of 80, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty close off. So, again, terrific opening opponent for Minooka. That game is a 7 o'clock kickoff, of course. Our fantastic pregame show, Friday Night Lights, will kick off at 6:05. So that leading you into Minooka home football, which, of course, Joe, will be packed. And we'll talk to Matt Harding about that matchup. 7 o'clock hour, the one, the only Steve Susi from Friday Night Drive will join us. We will talk some various state issues with IHSA football. Get into it with him a little bit. And then late in the show, about 7:40, 7:45, brand new head coach, Joe, Tikas Pettigrew from Bolingbrook.
Yes.
Gee, here are the keys of the offense. Here's our terrific sophomore quarterback who set the world on fire last year. So Tikas has got a few things he can rely on going in.
Yes.
I saw Bolingbrook put a video out today with the uniform show, which, again, spectacular.
Yes.
At Bolingbrook. Red helmets. I'll show them to you in the break.
Yep.
Pretty sharp. So we'll talk to Tikas about that and his plan and just get to know him and get to know the Raiders for 2023. Your calls always welcome, 815-254-7300. We are also on YouTube. You can go to, my message board. Go to Twitter. You can watch us on my Twitter page. You can find us basically everywhere. So come on by. If you're on YouTube, you can DM us as our good friend Matt Now, who's probably... Well, he would have been at a game, but as we know, Joe, the Lincoln Way East game against Kenwood, which was supposed to be played at 7 o'clock tonight at Gately, has been pushed back to 10 a.m. Saturday. So I know Matt was planning on going to that, so he's probably just sitting around like everybody else, waiting for kickoff. So.
Yes.
Joe, the Week 1 2023 edition of the WJOL.com Big 5 poll is as follows.
At number 5, we have the Minooka Indians. At number 4, we have the Hilltoppers of Joliet Catholic. At number 3, we have the Porters from Lockport. At number 2, we have the Celtics of Providence Catholic. And we have the Griffins at number 1, Lincoln Way East.
There you go. And that is the WJOL.com Big 5 poll. You can find that poll here every Monday morning on Scott Slocum in the Morning Show. And so we'll see. Again, Joe, not too many surprises there in that Big 5.
No, you and I were discussing this week. There's only been a few teams, and we really couldn't remember other than Lincoln Way East starting out the year at number 1. I'm sure Providence was there at one time or Joliet Catholic. But Lincoln Way East is, again, to me, the cowbell is the gold standard for our area.
Yep, no doubt about it. So, again, that is the Big 5. Some things to talk about going into the area. Of course, we're gonna go through all the area games, and again, love to have your input anytime. Your thoughts? I mean, general overall. I mean, look, we had a good year last year. We didn't bring one home. We got there, knocked on the door a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Providence makes it all the way to the state final in 4A. They come up short against Sacred Heart. Lincoln Way East. Again, another nail biter with Loyola.
2 plays. Remember the opening play, the opening play of the game and the opening play of the third quarter.
So again, the usual kind of year for the Will County area. You get 2 teams there. Your thoughts going in, and do you kind of project and see down the road maybe another year like that, or maybe even a little bit better?
Well, you know, with our top 5, I really believe that all 5 of those teams. I know they got difficult schedules. But I think our top 5, those 5 teams will get in. Other teams such as like Morris, Wilmington, Lamont, We keep our fingers crossed with Joliet West. Lincoln Way West, I'm going to say, is going to make the playoffs this year. Bolingbrook could have a surprise.
Yeah, they're one of the most intriguing teams in this area.
Ask Seuss about that. Like we had Providence is a surprise team last year because we really didn't know Tyler very well and coming as a new coach, and they were definitely the biggest surprise of our area. That maybe Bolingbrook will be that team because of coaches, different coaches, but again, the core having the great quarterback that they do in Mr. Williams, that kid could spin a football.
Who's the dark horse? Who's a team that every year we have one that steps up? Not a whole lot expected in the preseason. They kind of step up and bite someone in the butt a little bit. Who is that team for you this year?
I'm going to say Plainfield East. I really am.
Okay.
New coaching staff, new.
RV Jackson takes over.
I'm going to mention them as maybe the surprise team.
Not bad. I don't know if it's this year. I could see it happening soon. I just don't know if it's still too new and those guys are still trying to get a handle on what they have. I don't think Lockport's getting a lot of preseason love outside of me in this area. I think that could be a mistake because the one thing I've learned, Joe, I haven't learned much over the 100 years I've been doing this, but there's a couple of things that I've learned. Number one, George Chard very seldom talks up his teams.
Correct.
Very even keel. Doesn't get overly excited one way or the other. He really likes his team, and I know Slocum had him on this morning, and he mentioned that, he does like this team, that there's, likes the kids, and he likes how things have gone in practice. The other thing I like about George, whenever he has 7 starters back on defense, they're going to be in every game.
Right. And what gives him kind of the mobility now is having that new coach, Brett Coy.
Yeah, I heard of that guy.
Yeah, so did I. I know him a little bit. He's taken over the offense.
Yeah.
So George can concentrate on the defense. And in my book, both of those guys are outstanding in their field and what they coach.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better. And I was going to make a comment. The last time George said that he liked the team, they won the state championship this year.
Yeah.
So you're right. You're right about George. He doesn't really get too excited, too high or low. But if he mentions that he likes this team, well, like I said, the last time he did that, they won a state championship.
So again, we were going to go right away to Steve Susie tonight, but obviously the Lincoln Way East game got canceled. One that Steve's going to cover. It's East. They're going to be good every year. You can mark it down.
As I always say, until somebody knocks them out of the playoffs, they're always even if they go 6-3, which they're not this year, but they're always dangerous in the playoffs.
They've hit that rarefied air that is about 85-90% reserved for Catholic powers, where year in and year out, they're just going to reload and go.
Yes.
And that doesn't happen very often in public school districts. Who would you throw? Well, East St. Louis.
Maine South.
East St. Louis. Maine South. Warren is getting there in 8A. They continue to make progress and reload every year. Who are some others?
I know. Well, Rochester, as I mentioned, but
Rochester,
but you're right? They're in a. To me, Rob has created, like I mentioned, the gold standard, and it's rarefied. They're one of the, I should say, top 3 or 4 teams in the state. Programs. I'm going to say programs.
Very interested to see how Lamont fares this year with your buddy taking the reins. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to be really good. I think Lamont has a chance with Willie Hayes leading the charge. We all know who they're going to run into in 6A.
Yes.
It's just a matter of time. But
I actually talked to young William this morning.
One of these years, they're going to get him.
Yeah, and I talked to Willie this morning.
And who has played East St. Louis the hardest over the last 2 years?
Lamont,
both times. So it could get. I think Lamont could be on a nice path here. Look, I give Lamont credit. They're playing a couple of really good non-conference games, which is great because they need to get tested. Because Joe, I don't know how good that conference is. I don't know if it's still maintaining a standard now where it was maybe 5-6 years ago. Right. TF South has been consistent generally under Coach Bob Padgett. Hillcrest was up for a while. Now they've kind of fallen back a little bit, but they still should be a playoff team.
Richards,
but again, Richards is more of a non-con for them since it's a crossover.
Yeah, it's a crossover. Yeah,
but that's a game. If you're Lamont, you have to have every year. You have to play Richards every year.
And if there was a few years there where they weren't even crossing over against Richards.
So Lamont's another one of those teams. By the way, 815-254-7300. We got a few minutes here if you want to hop in, but I don't know. Now I'm looking at the clock. We might have to go to break. But hey, give us a shot anyway, because you know what? Anyway, we'll continue on. So I feel pretty confident in the area. I think we definitely have a chance.
Oh, yes.
Of going on a deep ride, and it could be more than one team. It could be 2-3 teams this year. We'll see.
Yes.
Put them on. Hello, Bob.
Guys.
Bob?
Yes.
I can't hear Bob.
You can't hear. What happened?
I can hear you, Bob.
Oh, thanks, Joe.
Oh, there you are. Sorry. Let me try the other ear. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. What about you guys?
Trying to stay cool, just like everybody else.
It's literally 100 in the shade. So we're here in the nice air-conditioned studio with the palm trees behind me, and
that's right.
we're doing great. So you excited? You glad football back?
Yep, I'm tired of sitting at home.
There's no doubt. Making the trip out to Iowa City, are you?
Yep.
Pal, that sure sounds like a pretty decent team you're going to run into tomorrow night.
I'm more worried about the second and third week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the schedule's no joke. I was joking with Jaws, and I mentioned it on the coach's show. I was going through my prep for their conference, and I texted him and said, hey, man, nice schedule. He's like, yeah, great, thanks.
Yeah.
But you look at that schedule, Joe, up and down the line. Nothing easy this year. There's some really good teams on the Hilltopper schedule. Are we tailgating in Iowa City, or what are we doing? I know there's a group making plans. Yeah, I know that our friend Other Bob was lining up some stops for the Hilltopper fans for tomorrow. Should be a good game, though.
I hope so.
Again, you love if you're going to make a road trip, then do it right. I know you guys always seem to do it right.
Yep.
All right, my friend. Glad to have you back. Glad to have football back, and good luck, safe travels, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. See you, Bob.
Okay, buddy. Have a good one.
Yep.
Wait, Bob sounds fantastic on the phone.
He does.
He does. Sounds great. All right, we're gonna step.
Can every guest have Bob's phone line?
Yeah.
Can
that's
every
a
guest?
landline, dude.
Yeah, that
is a landline,
and that's a real thing.
God, it's clear as a
Man,
bell.
that phone line was amazing. How do you know we're radio geeks? We're like, oh, what an amazing phone line that was.
Nerds. All right, we're going to step aside and take a break. You are listening to the Week 1 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk, Sports.
So you're getting some roof or exterior work done, and you've covered all your bases, right? Even checked out some online reviews. You think you've got everything covered? Well, think again. Not all roofing and siding companies are insured. That's why I can't say enough great things about R.E. Duchesne Construction. They're a licensed and fully bonded exterior contractor serving Will, Grundy, and Kendall counties for over 40 years. I trust them, and I've personally used them.
Hi, I'm Rita Duchesne Hughes. If you look at your home and don't like what you see, or what you have no longer protects your family and largest asset, call us at R.E. Duchesne Construction. R.E. Duchesne has an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, so you can be confident you need only make one call. Looking to upgrade? R.E. Duchesne offers a full line of roof shingles, gutters, siding, soffit fascia, and windows. These add great value and beauty to your home. Call us at 815-722-2821 for all your home improvement needs. Financing is now available. Check us out on the web at reduchene.com.
And be sure to tell them Scott Slocum sent you.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Got a problem with your car? Here's a chance to talk to the experts. Listen in this Thursday at 9:35 to Car Talk with the experts from the service department at Darcy Buick GMC. Call in with your questions about any vehicle and get honest, experienced answers about your car. Plus, get helpful tips for keeping your car in great shape for every season. Listen to Car Talk this Thursday at 9:35 a.m. Brought to you by Darcy Buick GMC on Essington Road in Joliet and at darcymotors.com. Right here at 1340 WJOL. Will County's News, Talk, Sports.
Don't miss the return of Team Demolition Derby on Saturday night, August 26th at the Dirt Oval at Route 66. It's Scout Night and featuring a full night of total destruction with Team Demolition Derby, spectator racing, a stunt band, and the greatest fireworks finish around. Tailgating starts at 4 p.m., race time at 7 p.m. Team Demolition Derby returns this Saturday night, August 26th at the Dirt Oval at Route 66. Corner at Route 53 in Schweitzer in Joliet. Advance tickets available online at dirtoval66.com.
High school football on 1340 WJOL.
And welcome back. This is Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk, Sports. Of course, sponsored by our great State Farm agents, Kevin Malloy in New Lenox and John Wright in Joliet. Like a good neighbor, Joe?
State Farm is there.
Game of the week. 6:05 Friday Night Lights will get you started. Followed by the game of the week, a 7 o'clock kickoff sharp, Joe, because they don't fool around at Minooka.
Nope.
7 o'clock kickoff, the Rocks come to town. Historic Rock Island travels down 80, taking on the Minooka Indians. And joining us on the phone, Joe, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Not at all.
But to have Matt Harding on a bad cell phone connection. Good evening, sir.
How you doing tonight? Thanks for having me on.
You know what? It's always great to have you on, and great to have you at the coach's show as well. Fill us in with the heat the last couple of days. How have you managed it? And, what's the plan, I guess, going forward, going into tomorrow? I guess you're like everyone else, hoping the front blows through.
Yeah, we hope it cools off a little bit here, but I think this kind of put things in motion that school of 3,000 kids needs to have a field house.
Yeah.
The utility usage and stuff like that. So, we put the kids out at night on the turf, on Wednesday, and was able to get a great practice out there and kind of reduced it down, to a little over an hour. And then today we were able to get inside, a dome in order to get our pregame in and anything else that we needed to install before the game. So, we didn't skip a beat with what we're doing. We just had to change places.
Yeah.
The kids, trying to keep their heads in it, when you're switching their environment left and right.
Man, I thank God that the first game is at Minooka with that beautiful press box you got.
You wouldn't have said that a few years ago, would you?
No, it's air conditioned. And thank goodness for that.
Yeah, I set my alarm for 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm going to be walking up the bleachers and turn the air on for you. So it'll be nice.
Boy. That's why I like you guys so much.
Nice. Even more changes to expect this year going into the season at Minooka, Matt. I keep telling you, it's amazing every time I'm over there. There's something new. There's a new addition, a new improvement. Can you fill us in on a couple of things that maybe we might see differently tomorrow?
Yeah, our school board and our administration have been great at bringing our facilities up to par with most 8A schools, if not going above and beyond. So I can't thank those guys enough for that. We did get brand new LED lighting put in, and there's a whole bunch of different features. So maybe, the administration and the staff are learning how to use those features as we speak. So maybe there might be some features that you see, scoring a touchdown or whatnot after the end of the game. And it changes the atmosphere. I mean, it looks like it's noon, when we were out there at 8:30 the other night.
Yeah.
So It is really bright. You can see the football. You got light shining upwards, so you can see the bottom of the football when it's kicked. It's a great environment. And then, I did get an Edgy's check the other day, so we haven't cashed it yet, but the Edgytron's coming in sometime during this season here. So we got a brand new scoreboard coming in, video board, and that thing's going to be massive. I mean, if you look at the structure that's already there, and they're going to fill that thing up, that's going to be incredible.
Matt, talking about your players, and I mentioned, I was listening last week in my bunker, and you talked about, Joey Partridge to me is a tremendous player. It seems like he's been there for 5 years. But possibly, your quarterback, Nate Mall, could he be maybe the X factor for the offense?
He is. He knows where people need to be and what they need to do. And the biggest thing is he doesn't turn the ball over. He'll put the ball in spots where our receiver can get it or where we need to put it, and they're the only ones that have a chance at the ball. So you're not giving those 50-50 balls. And, if we can control the clock and control the ball, our offense is going to do some damage with the amount of skilled kids we have, and also our offensive line. Our offensive line is pretty big.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Kind of little green though, right? Outside of Barrowman.
Yeah, Barrowman and Keith Gravel, our right guard, that was played last year too. Besides that, we do have 3 new starters there, but they were all practicing last year with us and know our system, know what we're doing. They were just behind, 2 other kids that went to go play college football. We're in a position where we have really good juniors and they just can't get in the lineup, because they have a senior in front of them that's a little bit more consistent. But that's a good problem to have.
2 guys on the defensive side, and I know you're going to maybe want to talk about a couple of your sophomores, but 2 guys I want to bring up to you defensively. You talk about Joey Partridge all the time. I think another kid to me that kind of fits that potential Swiss Army knife for you is Ephraim Ramirez.
Yeah, Ephraim Ramirez. The kid's lights out. He's a ball hawk. He knows where that ball's going at all times. He is our strong safety. He sits back there. And a lot of times he already knows what play's coming based upon the formation and alignment and where these receivers are. So he's kind of always talking, leading our defense there. He did lead with 8 interceptions last year. I think he had 80-some tackles at a safety. And, you think, safety having 80 tackles, he didn't have a good year. No, he just has a knack for the football, and he comes down and has, several tackles at the line of scrimmage.
I know we talked,
but he's just a tremendous leader too.
Yeah, I know we talked about this on the coaches show, but you're very, very high on Caden Garcia.
Yeah, Caden Garcia. Holy cow! I don't know how this kid's, getting by. He's above a 3.0 GPA. He'll be fully eligible, for a scholarship, and he's 6'2", 250 pounds, 245 pounds right now, and he is giving all of our linemen fits. Even if it's Brady Barman, he's going to Ball State. He's a big dude too, and Brady's having to do everything he can to hold this guy off. So I'm really excited to see first couple weeks here of Caden Garcia to take off and see what happens, with this recruiting.
Great week 1 matchup against just a historic program in Rock Island. I know they have a new head coach. I know that he's been around that program in that area for years. I got to imagine this is probably the most head-scratching, nervous game of the year, possibly for you, not really knowing what you're going to face.
Yeah, anytime you switch your week 1 opponent and, the coach was gone for 2 years and he comes back, did he change his system? Is the guy a defensive-minded guy or is the offense? Is the offense going to stay with Rock Island, what they were good at, or are they going to switch to what Rockford Allman did? It's kind of just a crapshoot of what you're going to get, but that's why we train so hard during the summer and the couple weeks here to make sure our kids know in any situation, that we know how to overcome whatever they're going to give us.
No doubt about it.
Man, you were talking about, the linemen and the guys who practice. We often talk to the coaches, during the playoffs, and how important are those extra, like you guys made it to the second round, but how important is that extra 2 weeks for those young guys that are possibly going to fill in the spots to take those players that are playing at the next level?
It's unbelievable. I never really thought it that way as a coach until John Belskis kind of, came into the program and Terry McCombs, and we sat down and they told me about this, like, hey, they get an extra 2 weeks of practice, and what is that doing? They're coming up to the varsity level, which is extremely fast and physical, and it's gonna do dividends down the road, and what we're seeing now is us making it deeper in the playoffs. Some of these sophomores are ready to go, the next year they come up as a junior, or we even pull up some of the freshmen, and they're at our practice. And this year we're going to have 3 sophomores up, and it just shows you that practice allows them to be able to compete at a high level quicker than just, going through week 9 and then turning in your pants.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Definitely, definitely you definitely get a payoff from that postseason success. There's no doubt. Again, Matt, just want to thank you again for joining us and wish you the best of luck tomorrow night. Again, if you're not able to make it, if you're one of like 2 people in the entire Minooka, Shorewood, Channahon area that can't make the game, you can listen live on WJOL and WJOL.com. That is the game of the week, 7 o'clock kickoff, Rock Island at home of the Minooka Indians. Matt, good luck, my friend.
Yeah, good luck, Matt.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, Matt Harding joining us from Minooka. We got a couple minutes here if you want, 815-254-7300. Joe, it's Matt has done a really nice job since taking over the program. We've seen that consistency. They're getting in the playoffs a couple of years in a row here. I think that should continue. But we've said this for so long. You look at the numbers, you look at what they get coming out for football. Now, as he mentioned, it's very important, and God knows I've railed on him for long enough. It looks like an 8A school. It feels like an 8A school. It's playing like an 8A school. Morris is no longer your rival. Your rival is now Lincoln Way East and those level schools. That's what you're aiming for. And to me, it's incredibly encouraging to see the school and the school board get behind it and say, look, we're going to make an investment in this. And, Joe, it's going to pay off.
Right. When you upgrade your facilities and the kids in the program and kids that are playing the football at the grade school level see that, they want to play for Minooka. They want to go to Minooka because of the great facilities. And I'm glad, I'm very happy for Matt in the program that you're right. The school board has come through in the administration and has given the opportunity to have these things.
So again, as we mentioned, Rock Island comes in, historic program, just went through a coaching change. They had Ben Hammer was a coach there, was a handful of years. They were just okay. They were just a 5-4, 6-3 team in the Western Big Six. And the one thing about Rock Island is they always have athletes. They're always just a lot of speed. You're going to see a lot of speed. Their skill kids are going to be very good. I'm just really interested on the matchup because I think one of the things I'm interested to see is physically, number one, how Minooka comes out and how heavy and how physical they play, and how well Rock Island handles that in counters.
Right.
I think it's a huge tone center kind of game to me.
In the way the season ended last year for Minooka with the speed that Palatine had, it was hard for them to match up against that. So the first game of the year, Matt's getting a team coming to Minooka that has athletes and some speed. Yeah. Almost a mirror image of Palatine.
Yeah. And by the way, Palatine's going to be just good this year, maybe even better.
Yeah.
So.
I figured a lot of those guys are coming back.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Definitely a name to watch out for. No doubt about it. So we've covered that game. Certainly, Minooka should be a good opening ball game. Let's go through the schedule a little bit. We talked just a little bit about Joliet Catholic. They are on the road at Iowa City West, or actually Iowa City High, called the Little Hawks. Yeah, I think those were the Little Hawks. We had a story on my website from my Iowa publisher. You got basically a half dozen kids that are Division I FCS level starters. So it's a pretty good team they're going to run into.
Yes.
So we will see what happens. Let's go out to the phone line. The other Bob will join us. Hello, other Bob.
Hello, fellas. How are you?
A little fired up tonight or what?
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Yeah, Same to you. Yeah, good to hear you. And again, it was good to see you out at the coaches show.
It was great what you do for the kids. I really can't thank you enough.
No problem. So I know you've got a full agenda for tomorrow night, right?
We're hoping. We're going to roll out of town a little before noon.
Okay.
Get out there.
About what, 3 hours? 3 hours? 3.5?
A little over 3 from what I'm reading, yeah.
Okay.
And then we found what might be a fun little place to get a burger before the game.
Isn't it called like the Hilltop or something?
Can you imagine that? They went
Isn't that
named
cool?
the
It's
bar
unbelievable.
after us.
That is very cool.
So big kudos to the fellow who found it. I think it'll be appropriate. It'll be a good way to kick off the new season.
And then didn't I see something about a car wash?
There is. The guys who own Cleanage Car Wash in Plainfield, Illinois, which one of the best car washes in the area.
Ding, 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 ding.
Former quarterback for the Hilltoppers, Craig Slowick Jr., who is the manager out there, is opening up a new car wash in Iowa City.
There you go.
Just miles from where the Hilltoppers will be playing. And
nice
grand
tie-in.
opening weekend for them. So anybody who goes out there and tells them they're a Hilltopper will get a free car wash.
There you go.
It's the network connecting no matter where you go. It's amazing.
Hilltoppers all over the place, Bob. You know that.
I was just going to say, Hilltopper Nation expands again.
It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. What are your concerns?
It's funny the way it all clicked together and just leads to, hopefully, is a nice opening weekend.
What are your concerns going in?
That's what I was going to ask you guys. How do you think the temperature is going to affect some of these teams, especially teams that have us going two ways?
Well, Bob, you can drink as much Gatorade or water to prep for this stuff down the road. You're going to lose quite a bit of weight, especially with all the gear on. There's no way to prepare for it. I think the teams that have a lot of guys just going one way will be beneficial, but the other guys are going to have to be ready, because no matter if you play one way or two way, you're going to get tired.
You're gassed.
You're after halftime, probably middle of the third quarter, fourth quarter, you're going to get tired. It's inevitable tomorrow. It is absolutely, for matter of fact, the whole weekend. Even if the temperatures go down a little bit, it's still going to be hot. It's not going to be 100 degrees. It might be 86, but that is still hot.
Still hot. And other Bob, I saw an article out of one of the Iowa papers from the head coach saying they want to set tempo. They want to be higher tempo.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Against JCA. So there you go. So, if you decide, let's get H.J. Grigsby going, and let's get that running game clicking a little bit. Let's see how they handle the old school JCA for a series or two. That might be the secret weapon up your sleeve. That really helps you guys out tomorrow.
Yes.
Well, we only hope. And Joe, I do want to call on your coaching experience, many years. Have you ever heard of or used pickle juice to help fight?
I know a lot that do.
Yes.
Mustard.
Matter of fact, my lovely bride gets cramps in her calves, and she has a jar of pickle juice in the refrigerator. Another big thing though too, and I don't know if it doesn't taste that well. I haven't tried it yet, but Edgy and I have
yellow
seen
mustard.
Yellow mustard and water.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Well, it's kind of a lot of the same spices and everything there.
Yeah. It's a lot. A lot of those, like the mustard seed and stuff, generate some kind of chemical that definitely seizes up those cramps. And I've seen kids slam get like a little mini Gatorade cup, like half the size of this one.
Yep.
Full of like mixture of like water mixed with mustard, and they just down it. And other Bob, sure enough, it seizes up and they're able to go on. So yeah, I've seen that. And then the pickle juice one, I've seen like at a college game, them taking it. So yeah,
yes,
for real,
it works.
All right, other Bob, we're gonna cut you loose. We got a break, but
have a safe
good
trip,
luck,
Bob.
safe travels, okay? All right, we thank other Bob for his phone call, and again, that game tomorrow night out in Iowa City as the Hilltoppers hit the road. We're going to step aside and take a break. We'll be back. You are listening to the Week 1 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk, Sports.
Wake up, people. You're optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids to work to friends and everything in between, you have to get sleep and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements, learning how you sleep so you learn to sleep better night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number.
It's the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition Smart Bed, plus special financing ends Monday. See store for details.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I can't wait for what's next, even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Pixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist-prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Are you struggling to keep up with your kids, your finances, your insurance, your life? Then let State Farm agent Michelle Kerfin in Homer Glen help you simplify and get to a better state. Because with Michelle Kerfin handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else and more money too. Because adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40% and actually help you get ahead. Call State Farm agent Michelle Kerfin in Homer Glen and get to a better state with State Farm. Find Michelle online at insurewithmichelle.com.
Let's be honest, insurance rates have skyrocketed over the last 18 months and none of us are happy. This is State Farm agent Kevin Malloy, and I feel the same pain you do when the bill comes in the mail. When times are at their worst, people are looking for someone they can trust, and with 5 consecutive years of being named the best of Will County in the insurance category, why not consider calling the Malloy Agency? 815-463-5800. Like a good neighbor, we are and will be there when you need us.
Keep your vehicle running at top performance this summer by checking the belts and hoses. That's a job for Jiffy. For locations, go to ChicagolandJiffyLube.com.
The best football in the state plays right here on 1340 WJOL and WJOL.com.
And good evening and welcome back. This is the Week 1 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk, Sports. EDGYTIM, along with the coach, the one, the only, the legend,
the infamous
Coach Joe Rodriguero. Hello, sir.
Hello, Edge.
As I told you on the phone earlier today, I am your friend, but I am a very bad friend because your birthday was Monday. Happy belated birthday, my friend.
It was. Thank you.
So we will we'll work on that. We'll pay back. Joe, we got a DM question from George Gomez.
Okay.
With a Cub logo, so I already don't like him. No, I'm kidding. And again, Evan, this is a no baseball zone here this year, okay? Just setting the ground rules early.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
George asks, what do you guys think about Chicago's St. Pat's? Well, I have my opinion. George, I saw them last year. I saw them beat Marion Catholic. It was a really close game against Marion Catholic. Luke Burton's I've known for a long time. I think that was a great hire when they brought him on. I see Pat's continuing to go up, Joe. I mean, it's a historic program. They've been competitive. They've been, some years are a little better than others. I know a year or two ago they had a nice playoff run. and they're always going to be in the fight. They're always a tough team. They always get their share of kids kind of from the near west side,
Right.
the west side over there. And yeah, and they're a solid program. Now this year, I'm not exactly sure what they have coming back, but I've made my way out a few times. I saw them. They're playing out at Triton College, or they were playing out at Triton College. I don't know if that's the same still, but yeah, I saw them out at Triton. Joe, you're familiar, obviously, with St. Pat's over the years.
I mean, when I think of St. Pat's, I think of very, very physical.
Yeah,
football team.
I think a really bad AstroTurf in Hanson. I think of a team that I honestly I kind of put them and Georgia loved this one. I put them and Niles Notre Dame kind of in the same category that you're going to play them. They're going to smack you in the mouth and they're going to be very physical and play hard. So
tough places to play.
Oh God, Hanson, thank God. Can someone out there, George, you might be the guy. Can someone give us an update on Hanson Stadium? Because the last I had heard, they were in the process of some major renovations. 815-254-7300 if anyone has an idea of what's going on these days with Hanson. But I know that was one of the several public league facilities that were in the middle of a major upgrade. So it's going to be interesting when they bring it back.
It needed it.
No doubt about it. All right, Joe, we've got, and again, the phone lines are open, 815-254-7300. Joe, let's go through some games in the area.
Okay.
Providence Catholic at Lake Central, Indiana. Joe, this is a traditional week 1 game for Providence. Joe, and I asked this question during the year, was it a 1-year blip or are the Celtics here to stay?
I think they're here to stay.
I do too. And you know why they're here to stay? The guy leading the charge.
Yep.
I'm telling you, that guy is bound and determined to get that program rolling, and he's well on his way.
There are a few question marks with the Celtics, but they're going to be good. And I know Lake Central of Indiana won last week, but Providence Catholic is a different animal.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Elmwood Park at Reed Custer. Elmwood Park, again, we talked about the new coach syndrome. Elmwood Park is a new coach. Terrence Terry, who's familiar out here, is an assistant at HF. He coached at Plainfield. So known out here. He takes over Elmwood Park. Reed Custer, Joe, a lot of graduation losses. But you know what, Gavin? I think Gavin will get things turned around. I think they get a win here in week 1.
Yeah, so I agree with you there.
I think they'll be in that 5-win range this year, hopefully. Again, the rivalry game, Joe, we talked about this on the coaches show. The fans want this game, and is according to both coaches, this one's going to continue for the foreseeable future as long as the conferences allow them. Morris at Cole City, your thoughts?
I just, Coach Logren and the Kohlers kind of reloading a little bit, but Morris is going to be awfully strong again this year. I know they lost some people, and Alan Thorson was talking about that, but
still got a good amount coming back.
They've got their quarterback coming back, who I thought was really a great player last year for him, and I just think Morris will be a little bit too tough for Cole City.
Wilmington at Seneca, Joe. I think Jeff is raring to go, and I think the Wildcats are going to be really tough this year.
I know I saw in the paper, and I'm going to talk to Sousa about this when we get him on later. He's picking Seneca here, but Wilmington does what Wilmington does. And to me, they're just a tough team to beat.
And look, Seneca had a great year last year.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. They had a really strong year, but
they ran into Byron.
Yeah.
Like everybody else did.
This is a Wilmington team that was young last year that brings back a lot of RC experienced kids this year.
And last year when Dewey and I were at Reed Custer for that game, I was there for the sophomore game, and their sophomore team at Wilmington last year was really good last year.
Joe, a school you're a little bit familiar with, Lamont, they're on the road at Libertyville.
Well, I talked to young William today and wished him good luck.
Yep.
And I just, again, I know Libertyville is a good program. They've been up and down, and that's another tough place to play. They better leave about 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's not. Oh my God, with the traffic up there now.
Oh boy, but I'm looking, and Coach Hayes is going to get his first varsity victory tomorrow night.
There's one name everyone needs to remember in this area, and it's Nathan Kunikis.
Yep.
He is going to have a big, big season for Lamont this year. Of course, Nathan is the younger brother of Albert. Albert wound up at Northwestern. Nathan is like 6'3", 215. He's moved to quarterback, and Joe, he can sling it.
And even with the retirement of Brett and Willie taking over, Brett Gagnon is going to run the offense.
Yeah. So.
And he was Brett's right-hand man, and Brett has run the offense before Brett got there. So they're not going to miss a beat.
Nothing makes me happier than to see Thomas Hart at an event.
Yes.
Great to see him Thursday night at the coaches show. Had a nice talk with him. He's confident in these Steelmen, Joe. They're at home. They're hosting Stag. Now, again, Stag hasn't had great success, but they're still a solid team. Could the Steel dudes get one here?
They could. Stag's returning, I think, quite a few players. I know they started 2-0 and then lost the rest of their games the rest of the year, but this is going to be a tough one for Joliet Central, I think.
One I want to get in, Joe, and it's not on the schedule, but we need to talk about it. Kenwood taking on Lincoln Way East. That game was scheduled originally for tonight, pushed back because of the heat to 10 a.m. Saturday at Gately. It's interesting. Kenwood, obviously, a stacked roster, a lot of Division I guys. Lincoln Way, not a lot of Division I guys, just guys that will just pound and pound and pound and pound again, and they'll just keep coming.
Well, they got Mr. Tishner, the quarterback, is back. I just, when I look at Lincoln Way East in this matchup against Kenwood might have some big guys also, but I'm looking at the physicality of Lincoln Way East here.
Yeah, it's the Kenwood's going to do some good things, and Kenwood's going to move the ball, and they're going to score a few points, maybe, because we're talking East, so the defense is going to be ready.
Yes.
But I just think, and again, I give C.Q. Turner all the credit in the world at Kenwood. He stepped up. He knows he's got a stacked roster. He stepped up the schedule. They're playing the best teams they can find, and obviously Lincoln Way East is one of them. I don't think Kenwood's ready just yet for this level, but when it's all said and done, Kenwood can wind up going in 6A and being a really good team there come playoff time. And Morgan Park is in that same boat as well. They're both going to be pretty good this year.
Yeah, Kenwood had a little bit of a run too last year in the playoffs, I believe, too. So
so there's talent there.
No, there is. They're a good team, but as you said, maybe they're not quite ready for what they're going to see on Saturday.
Last one before we go up against a break: Shepherd at Joliet West.
Again,
just kind of depends. John Rohn does a nice job with Shepherd, but it's a talent thing. Some years he's got more than others. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure what to expect out of Joliet West at this time, to be honest.
Coach Tito's got to replace Mr. Bull, who was Mr. Everything for them last year. So,
no doubt.
I'm picking Joliet West here. Playing
Joe, we're already an hour into the show.
Already?
I mean, we've only been saving this up for 9 months. I mean, all right, we're going to step aside. We break at 7 o'clock. We have ABC News, which is required. So don't run away. Or if you run away, go to the bathroom like we're going to, and then come back. We'll be back 7 o'clock hour. 7 o'clock hour, we are going to have Steve Susie right out of the box at 7:05. And then we'll also have Tikas Pettigrew, new head coach at Bolingbrook. You are listening to the Week 1 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk Sports.
For Will County's news, talk, and sports, we're 1340 WJOL.
Let's be honest, insurance rates have skyrocketed over the last 18 months and none of us are happy. This is State Farm agent Kevin Malloy, and I feel the same pain you do when the bill comes in the mail. When times are at their worst, people are looking for someone they can trust. And with 5 consecutive years of being named the best of Will County in the insurance category, why not consider calling the Malloy Agency? 815-463-5800. Like a good neighbor, we are and will be there when you need us.
Hey, race fans! This Friday night is First Responders Night at the Grundy County Speedway in Morris, where all first responders get in free with a work ID. And you'll see a full night of stock car racing, including Sportsman, Street Stocks, Pure Stocks, Midwest Super Cups, and the Aaron Willis Senior Memorial Midwest Mayhem Midgets. Grandstands at 5, qualifying at 6:45 with Green Flag Racing at 8 p.m. The Grundy County Speedway, Route 47 just north of I-80 in Morris. All kids 11 and under, free. GrundySpeedway.com.
From the Abri Credit Union Studio, This is Will County's News Talk Sports. WJOL, Joliet.
From ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. For a fourth time, President Trump has been booked on criminal charges, this time in Fulton County, Georgia, where he's accused of trying to overturn the state's election results. ABC's Victor Akendo outside the Fulton County Jail, along with some of the former president's supporters and critics.
The former president, no surprise, he has plenty of supporters here. I've heard from people who drove in from surrounding states, North Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, but we've also heard from those who are eager to see the former president booked. One person telling me, I want to see the guy that tried to steal my vote go to jail.
DA Fonnie Willis has given all of the defendants until Friday afternoon to turn themselves in. Her office is also proposing a new trial date, October 23rd, after one of the 19 defendants named in the indictment, Kenneth Cheeseborough, filed a motion requesting a speedy trial. We're learning more about last night's deadly shooting at a bar in Orange County, California.
The retired police sergeant who investigators say walked in and shot his estranged wife, the person she was eating dinner with, and then randomly other people inside of the restaurant, traveled from Ohio to carry out the shooting. Orange County Sheriff Don Barnes says deputies arrived within 2 minutes of the 911 calls and immediately took fire from the suspect's shotgun. Patrol cars were hit. They moved in tactically and fired.
It was a gunfire from those deputies that ultimately took the life of the individual.
A motive for shooting the random victims is unknown. Alex Stone, EBC News.
An 82-year-old woman from Vancouver is home after surviving the Maui wildfires.
It was like we had a little, I hate to say coffin right there, that we saved us.
Sandy Hauser huddled in a stairwell by the ocean for hours. The FAA will consider tighter rules for charter operators to put them in line with passenger airlines. You're listening to ABC News.
Ron had a tax problem he just couldn't handle on his own.
I owed the IRS taxes for over 5 years, but I didn't have any money to pay the taxes.
Those years cost him dearly.
Most of it was fees and interest. It was horrible.
Ron finally called in the pros.
I called Optima Tax Relief, and boy, am I happy I did.
The leading tax resolution firm, Optima, is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've resolved over $1 billion for their clients. Ron was overjoyed.
They settled my account with IRS. I was ecstatic. They are a lifesaver. They are. I am so happy.
Take Ron's advice and call Optima now for a free consultation.
Yeah, don't do like I did and wait. Call Optima Tax Relief. Do it now. You'll be ecstatic like me.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The Justice Department has filed a lawsuit against SpaceX, alleging the company routinely discriminates against asylum seekers and refugees in its hiring practices. Come October, the U.S. will start training Ukrainian pilots to fly and maintain F-16 fighter jets. Pentagon spokesman Brigadier General Pat Ryder.
The training provided by the United States will complement the F-16 pilot and maintenance training that's already underway in Europe and further deepens our support for the F-16 training coalition led by Denmark and the Netherlands.
Ryder says the Ukrainians will train at Morris Air National Guard Base in Tucson, Arizona, after they get English language training at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio. A fast food investor is eating up another major chain restaurant.
A new owner for Subway. After more than 5 decades of family ownership, the sandwich shop franchisor is being bought by private equity firm Roark Capital for a reported $9.6 billion. And while you may not have heard of Roark, you've likely heard of other brands it owns through holding companies, including Dunkin', Baskin-Robbins, Arby's, Sonic, Auntie Anne, Cinnabon, and Carvel, to name a few. Subway CEO John Chidsey calls the move a win-win for franchisees, guests, and our employees. Dave Packer, ABC News.
The FDA is warning consumers to stop using certain eye drops over fears of bacterial and fungal contamination. The products include Dr. Burns MSN Drops 5% solution and Light Eyes 5% repair. This is ABC News.
I'm Scott Trout, attorney and CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. We help men deal with the life changes triggered by divorce, such as child custody and property division, among many others. But life changes also occur after divorce. These changes can make parts of your existing court order irrelevant. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell. We're a partner men can count on.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Springfield area attorneys. 2815 Old Jacksonville Road, Suite 103, Springfield, Illinois, 62704.
Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Come one, come all to the 120th annual Will County Fair in Peatone. The Will County Fair runs today through Sunday with fun for moms and dads and kids of all ages, plus all kids 9 and under get in free. The Will County Fair continues today with Senior Citizen and Veterans Day, with $2 admission for all seniors and veterans. Inside the family tent, enjoy Mike's Magic Family Magic Show, Juggler Jay Fleming, Dave Rudolph's British Invasion, and the Frankfurt Brass Band. Due to the heat advisory, Ride-a-thon night at the Carnival will start at 6 p.m. The band Straw Dog and the Beer Garden and the ITPA Tractor and Truck Pulls presented by DeYoung Equipment. Friday night features the new event, the Monster Truck Show, presented by Pearl Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Come back Saturday for the Scramble Race, presented by A Affordable, and the Demolition Derby on Saturday night, presented by Trolley Chevrolet Buick. And Sunday features the IPRA Championship Rodeo, presented by Terry's Ford, at the 120th Will County Fair in Peatone. WillCountyFair.org.
Attention taxpayers, ready for some bad news? With $80 billion in new funding from Congress, the IRS has launched their most aggressive hiring campaign ever to ramp up enforcement. If you're ignoring your taxes, don't delay another minute, because your paycheck, your bank account, even your home or business could already be at risk. Now, here's the good news. Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm, can get to work immediately helping to protect you from the IRS. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their tax attorneys and licensed professionals are experts at resolving tax problems. Let them help determine if you qualify for the Fresh Start Initiative or other powerful IRS tax assistance programs. Take control. Call Optima Tax Relief now for a free consultation.
Call 800-970-3199. That's 800-970-3199. 800-970-3199.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Let's be honest, insurance rates have skyrocketed over the last 18 months and none of us are happy. This is State Farm agent Kevin Malloy, and I feel the same pain you do when the bill comes in the mail. When times are at their worst, people are looking for someone they can trust. And with 5 consecutive years of being named the best of Will County in the insurance category, why not consider calling the Malloy Agency? 815-463-5800. Like a good neighbor, we are and will be there when you need us.
Hey, race fans! This Friday night is First Responders Night at the Grundy County Speedway in Morris, where all first responders get in free with a work ID. And you'll see a full night of stock car racing, including sportsmen, street stocks, pure stocks, Midwest Super Cups, and the Aaron Willis Senior Memorial Midwest Mayhem Midgets. Grandstands at 5, qualifying at 6:45 with green flag racing at 8 p.m. The Grundy County Speedway, Route 47, just north of I-80 in Morris. All kids 11 and under, free. GrundySpeedway.com.
Your official home for Joliet and Will County sports is 1340 WJOL.
And welcome back. It is hour number 2 of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. EDGYTIM here along with the coach, Joe Rodriguero and Evan Bredesen, spinning the dials. And this edition and every edition, as you just heard, brought to you by our fantastic State Farm agents, John Wright in Joliet and Kevin Malloy in New Lenox. Like a good neighbor, Joe.
State Farm is there.
They certainly are, and definitely give them a call. And we thank them once again for sponsoring us for the 22nd year, Joe Rodriguero, of Pigskin Preview. Yeah, it flies by just like that. Just like my youth. Gone. All right, we are here. Hour number 2. Again, want to go through the broadcast schedule. Tomorrow night, 6:05, Friday Night Lights. Yes, ladies, relax. He's back. Evan Bredesen will be your host for Friday Night Lights. Got a few calls and DMs about that. Yes, Evan will be here, and he will Get you ready for the games around the Will County area tomorrow night. And of course, our headline game is a 7:00 kickoff at Minooka, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Lots of new tricks and newfangled things out at the reservation.
Can't wait to see them all.
In the nice air-conditioned press box.
You know
That will be a 7:00 kickoff. Again, Rock Island making the trip east, coming out to Minooka. Joe, the WJOL EDGYTIM.com Big 5 poll for week 1. Fire away.
All right, we have number 5, Minooka. 4 is Joliet Catholic. 3 is Lockport. 2 is Providence Catholic, and number 1 is Lincoln Way East.
And you can find that Big 5 every Monday morning with Scott Slocum in the morning. And you can find out first there every week. So, again, appreciate everybody listening. And you know what, Joe? Let's go out to the phone lines. I'm going to be joined by one of our good friends. We've known him probably as long as we've been doing the show. Now as the lead, I guess we'll call him the lead mush dog of Friday Night Drive, Steve Susi. And Sus, good evening. Welcome aboard. And I don't know, are you glad you're not out there sweating at Gately right now, or are you missing it a little bit tonight?
I was mad about it probably up until about 4:00 this afternoon when I went outside and actually experienced what was going on, and then I forgave everyone. It was a blanket forgiveness for canceling that game because I don't think anybody would have enjoyed that experience.
No,
frankly, it would have been dangerous, to be honest with you.
You finally know what it feels like to be standing inside an oven, basically.
Yeah.
So, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Let's go through some stuff. I always like talking a little bit bigger picture, and then we'll get in the area a little bit as well. Steve, what happened to 1 through 32? Where did it go?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I've talked to some people that were on the committee, and they tried to spark the discussions again, and it seemed like people were responsive to it, but didn't take any action on it. So I don't really know what that means for the future of it. I was talking to a couple people about this recently, and I think you can make the arguments for like 1 and 2 and maybe even 3 that it's the right thing to do. But 5 and 6 last year, especially 5, if you looked at 5 on paper, 1 to 16 actually made it worse.
Yeah.
And I have proof of this. I mean, there were some ridiculous first round trips last year in that classification. And if you would have drawn it 1 to 32, you would have got rid of some of those. And overall, it would have been shorter. So I really think it's a situation where eventually, I hope, we at least get to a point where we can draw it in 1 to 32. And if it doesn't look that bad and doesn't make the situation, then, I mean, why can't it be a flexible thing? Why can't it be, hey, it worked 1 year, it doesn't work the next, and just kind of go back and forth based on what happens? Because I think if you look down the line here, I think 5A is going to be a mess from geography, because I think we're going to have way more teams in the north.
Yeah.
And you're going to have, you're going to have a team like Joliet Catholic or possibly Providence, maybe traveling to the St. Louis area for a first round game. Yep. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. If you keep it in 1 to 16. Yeah. If you keep it in 1 to 16, I think that's a likely possibility.
And I love the clarity that we get regarding these things. It's like, okay, well, someone talked to a reporter 3 months ago and said it's basically off. Okay, great. Well, I don't know, maybe a press release, like just kind of explaining why you're kind of squashing this rule that you were so proud that you passed and everyone was excited. And gas prices. Okay, well, that's fine. It's hard to argue gas prices really haven't gone down, but Steve, what has gone down? I don't know.
Yeah.
Food prices are up, so we can't do 1 through 32.
Yeah, for me, when I look at it after the fact, after we're done, it's just, especially in certain classifications, I just don't know why we can't draw it in 1 to 32, take a look at it and say, hey, is this making it better or worse than 1 to 16? And in some cases, it makes it better. Some cases, it's exactly the same. I mean, what I don't like out of the whole situation, and it's happening more and more in these 1 to 16s, we're getting rematches.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And I mean, you look at it, certain brackets are the makeup of the three or four different conferences. And if it lines up right, lines up wrong, you've got teams playing each other again that played in the regular season, and right off the bat. And I don't think that's the best way to crown a state champion. I never have, and I never will.
Steve, I was going to mention Matt, playing teams the second time or, in the playoffs. And we've had a couple of these teams, like, for example, Reed Custer, Wilmington in the past have run into Byron. And it's just, unfortunately for those two teams in our area, Byron's just a little bit better. Is it a case where maybe one or two schools get in the ear too much of some of these people that are making the decisions? Because, common sense, and we know that, when you get to some I can say this now, I'm retired, at some administrative levels, common sense goes out the window sometimes. Is it maybe one or two schools just saying, hey, we can't have this because of gas prices, or we got to have this or got to have that? Is that the case?
I don't know that for sure. I've never actually, just like Edgy said, we don't get a lot of clarity on why these things change. Don't get a lot of clarity on why this ultimately, other than the gas prices excuse, was the reason for, why we didn't do it. But, I think when you look at the hard data of what goes on here, I don't see why Southern schools, to be fair, would be for it, because in a roundabout way,
they're playing the same schools like everyone else.
They're getting someone down there is getting to a state championship.
Yeah.
And if you look at the margins of state championship games over the last decade, since we've been in the North-South formats, it doesn't look very favorable on the Southern portion of the bracket.
Yeah.
There have been years down there, and I know Edgy remembers them, where we haven't had a competitive game all weekend in the North-South brackets.
Yeah.
It's just, it's the reality of the situation. So I'm sure that, some people looked at it the same way that I looked at it. Okay, what if we do 1 to 32? What does the bracket look like? And when you look at that, if you're a school that's been routinely getting to the quarterfinals and the semifinals in the old situation, do you want it shook up? I would say you probably don't.
Yeah.
So, and last year you were talking about Reed Custer and Byron and in that situation, that 3A North bracket was absolutely loaded.
Yep.
And then you go down to the 3A South and you just kind of shrug your shoulders and go, I think there's 7 or 8 teams that can probably beat the best team that comes out of that South bracket.
Yeah.
And to me, that's an imbalance that should be corrected.
One of the big spotlight games happens to be Saturday night down in Illinois State when East St. Louis takes on Mount Carmel. I know you're planning on being there. I'll be there. I think half this room will be there. Obviously, a big turnout. I think, number one, it's exciting because the state finals are going back to Illinois State. So I think this will give everyone that haven't been down there since the old days and since the finals are there, give everyone a different look at Illinois State and see the improvements they've made. Do we almost put too much into a week 1 game sometimes, Seuss? Because let's face it, it's going to be sloppy at times. There's going to be issues. There's going to be turnovers, penalties.
Yeah, I think in the case of this game in particular, I think both of these programs have a fair amount of questions that they have to answer coming to this game, and they might not get them in week 1. So, East St. Louis is basically breaking in an entirely new offensive line, and we know how productive they were. And Blaine Dowling was so productive for Mount Carmel last year, and I know they like the guy they're putting in there, but it's still, his first impactful snaps. So it's a heck of a way to open the season, but am I going to discount one team or the other if they get beat handily in this game? No, absolutely not.
As far as the area is concerned, the Will County area here at 1340 WJOL listening area, we're the first to admit it. We basically take Linkaway East for granted every year, but it's really hard after a while. And we talked earlier in the show about how, Steve, they pretty much have entered that kind of rarefied air with, and there's not a whole lot of public schools that are in that position. I mean, we threw a few names out there, Joe. I know we talked Maine South, Rochester, a couple others, but it's pretty amazing to see how that program continues to just turn out great players, great teams, win after win, and sure looks the same again going into this year.
I mean, you don't realize it when you're going through it over the course of the season. Like, I don't think that way. But when I got back out there for preseason stuff with Lincoln Way East, I'm like, how are all these guys back?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they have so many guys back. And like everyone, they have some holes they have to fill. I think the running back position is probably the biggest question for them right now. But, I mean, all over the field, they seem to have guys that either started or played so much that you felt like they were starting. And it's just, I know it's not intentional, but it almost feels like they layer it somehow. It's like, we've got X amount of seniors we can put into the lineup here. We got to have that next wave ready. So, I mean, I know they're not doing that intentionally, but over the last couple of years, it sure feels like it, because I just walk out there and I see, 12, 15 guys that I'm extremely familiar with. And I don't know how you are that good and seem to have that much in the cupboard every year.
Steve, going to the other end of the spectrum here. Last year, Providence, very, very surprised team, made a great run and lost in the state championship game. As you were doing your previews and that, who's maybe one of the teams that might break out of it this year and make the playoffs?
There's so many interesting teams out there because there's so much turnover this year with so many new coaches in the area. There's so much I feel like there's a lot more questions heading into week one about what are these guys going to be? I think I have a pretty good idea of what a lot of the new programs are going to do. And I think I heard you mention it earlier in the show, Joe. I don't think we're going to see it immediately, but I think by the end of the season, if Plainfield East can get a couple of wins in the early going, that's going to be a dangerous team. I just don't think we're going to see it right away. Mm-hmm. So it's just a lot of work needs to be done there to kind of get them back up into the shape of things. But if they can figure out some things here in the early going, get into their divisional schedule in good shape, you have to like the experience that coaching staff has to kind of mold a pretty good program. It's, I don't even know, Edgy, how many years of coaching experience is lined up on that sideline behind Harvey.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think,
and that's what you need in a situation like a program that needs a little bit of a rebuild, to be completely honest.
And I'll leave this and get your thoughts on this, and then we'll cut you loose. And again, we always appreciate you taking time. Is Bolingbrook maybe the most interesting story going into the year?
I mean, they're fascinating. I mean, I went out to see this, and I mean, I know they lost Marion Stewart to Kenwood, but you have Kion Berry Johnson, who I think pound for pound might be the best receiver in the state.
Yeah.
And in terms of just doing what you need to do to be an effective high school wide receiver. He's incredible. But the thing that just got me and just kind of bowled me over, they had 4 or 5 other guys running around. I don't even know who they were. That were just catching everything under the sun. And I'll tell you right now, everybody was like, Jonas Williams was amazing as a freshman last year. I think we're going to see even more fireworks out of him. He just looks so confident in the pocket. Nothing about him says that he's a sophomore in high school, other than his transcripts. Yeah. I mean, he just carries himself in a way that I expect from a guy who, is on his way out. Like, he carries himself like a senior, to be completely honest.
And you look back, guys, one bad game last year.
Yep.
It just happened at the worst time of the year, and he'll learn from that. And I guarantee you that is lit a fire under him going into this year. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I wonder about them defensively, but the one thing you never lack at Bolingbrook is athletic resources to fall back on. They have dudes. It's just whether or not they can put it together, because I think there'll be times when they get into shootout games this year, and they're going to need the defense to give them a couple of stops. Will they be able to do that? So an interesting schedule for them. That always is, but they will be the kind of team that almost any result that comes out of one of their games wouldn't astonish me. Like if you told me, that Jonas threw 7 touchdowns, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yep. Agreed.
It's just one of those things that, I think we'll learn a lot more about them, but it's going to be a bit of a roller coaster ride with the Raiders, I think.
You're the best. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Zeus.
No problem, guys. Talk to you soon.
All right, Steve Susi joining us from Friday Night Drive, and again, we're running late, so we're gonna take a break. We'll come back. We'll open up the phone lines a little bit when we come back. So you are listening to Week 1 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk, Sports.
Your taxes are overdue, but you still haven't filed. Maybe you haven't filed for years. What started out as one mistake has now turned into a major issue, but now it's overwhelming. Don't wait any longer. Call Greg Severson of the CPA firm of Cordano, Severson and Associates. You've heard about Greg Severson for years and how he's helped many other people and businesses deal with the IRS, from fixing past errors to reducing your back taxes to working out reasonable payment plans. Whatever your issue is with the IRS, Greg has the experience and the success to help you or your business get through this. Don't let the problem get any worse. Give yourself some peace of mind and call Greg Severson today. Call the firm that's provided quality tax advice for over 50 years right here in the Will County area. 815-744-1900. That's 815-744-1900. Cordano, Severson and Associates, a firm that you can trust and your business can afford. Co-founder and proud member of the Will Buy Local Alliance.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. But right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Refresh your home with 11% off everything at Menards. Keep your home's exterior protected with Menards' great selection of exterior paints and stains. Dutch Boy Exterior Stain and Sealer is dirt and scuff resistant and begins repelling rain in just 4 hours after application. Pick up a gallon of semi-transparent for $31.99 after 11% off. Good through August 27th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
When our hometown auto dealers are doing well, the positive benefits are felt throughout our entire area. Car dealers had an economic impact of over $10.8 billion statewide, and they created over 119,000 jobs in our local communities. A thriving auto dealer brings more customers to our shops, restaurants, and service industries. With new car and truck inventory now back on the lots, we are all driving in the right direction. 1340 WJOL salutes the many local car dealers across our great state. It's a great time to buy. So next time you drive past a local car dealer, drop in and take a look. They're not just selling cars, they're fueling our local economy.
For all the scores, from football to basketball to baseball, it's WJOLsports.com.
And welcome back. We are in the second hour of our first week edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. EDGYTIM here along with the coach Joe Rodagero and Evan Bredesen. Spinning the dials. Want to appreciate everybody listening, watching online. Hello, YouTube audience and Twitter and everywhere else. And glad to have you aboard. We will be here every Thursday through the season. So by all means, spread the word, set a timer. You can sit down. You can watch us live. You can watch us on replay as well all through the week. And yeah, so we're here for you. Let's go out to the phone lines. We're going to bring in the captain. Aye, Captain. Welcome aboard.
Hey, fellas, how you doing today?
Doing well.
Good to have you back.
Hey, glad to be back, Captain. What's up?
Yeah, man. How about those Indians, man? I'm glad you guys have them on your ranking system, man. I think they're gonna, do some damage this year, even though, their division is not the same as it used to be. But I have faith in Minooka, baby. I'm alumni, so I hope they do well this season.
Yeah, it's, again, we talked about it a little bit when we had Matt Harding on, Joe, and it's just a program that you've been waiting to really break out. And they've had some success. I know they had a nice run a couple of years ago. What, Joe? The quarters, I think? Didn't they lose in the quarters?
Beat by Edwardsville, I think.
Yeah, and a tight game against Edwardsville, too. And honestly, Captain, I think that's got to be the goal every year. And I think Matt's getting them to that point for sure. And yeah, I mean, by the way, Joe, Minooka, over 3,000 students this year. It's the highest enrollment they've had in the school's history.
Wow.
So it continues to grow and the base continues to get bigger and bigger out there. And you drive down up in Captain, you drive up and down Ridge Road, you continue to see some of those developments that were on hold for a long time. They're starting to bounce back. So once they'll start really building up, then Minooka is really going to take off enrollment wise.
I'm very happy to see that, man. Hey, is there any way I can get Joe and your autograph soon, man?
My autograph?
Do you want us to drive over to your house now, or how do you want us to do this?
Dude,
you know what? That's really nice of you, but you know what? Just call us every week. That's the best.
That's what I want.
We're all about interaction. If you see Joe,
I'd rather talk to the real person. You know what I mean?
If you see Joe, okay, Joe will be covering the game tomorrow night. So if you see Joe, come up and say hello.
Yes, stop by the press box.
That's what we love. That's what we love. We love meeting you guys.
You guys have a good one, man.
All right, you too. Thanks for calling. All right, the captain drops off, and I don't do autographs. Evan, do you do autographs?
Seldomly.
Yeah.
At specific signings.
Joe, I know Joe does autograph shows all off season long.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, all over the place.
Yep. So appreciate that, Captain. Thanks for calling.
Thanks
Great
for
to hear
calling.
from you. Phone lines are open 815-254-7300. You want to talk IHSA football? It doesn't have to be Will County. We'll go statewide. We'll go small class. Again, you can hear my weekly podcast with Matt Lang, Third and Lang. First episode out last night and just banged out 50 minutes just like that with the old Langer.
Did you talk at all?
A little.
I was going to say, man can talk.
I had a good 2-3 minutes.
But you know what, though? That man knows his stuff.
He does.
He knows
He
his
loves it,
stuff.
too.
Yes.
All right. Again, 815-254-7300. Joe, let's continue to go down the area schedule. Here's a good one. Plainfield Central at Lincoln Way West.
Yeah. Again, I really believe, Lincoln Way West not making the playoffs last year, I think kind of stuck it in,
rattled some cages.
Yeah, yes. And I'm looking for them to have a big year this year. I really am.
Well, Plainfield East, first year head coach Harvey Jackson takes over. Here, Joe. Congratulations. You have to go to Bradley in week one. And again, we talk all the time about Bradley, and it's tough to win there because it's such a great home atmosphere. No doubt about it.
It is. I've been down
This
there
is a
few
good
times.
Bradley team, Joe. This is a Bradley team. If Lincoln Way West doesn't win that conference, I think Bradley wins that conference.
Yep. They're always, was it last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Took Lincoln Way East to overtime.
Yep. It's a good, again, Mike Cole has his son, Ethan, quarterback now, and Ethan's a really good player. I think it's going to be a good year for Bradley this year. Yorkville, another program, Joe, that obviously it's a little bit out of our extended range, but they are in the conference that has our schools. Yorkville on the road at Plainfield South. Jake Brosman takes over. First year head coach. Had a nice visit with Jake on the coach's show. Got to know him a little bit better. Yorkville, Joe, that's a program kind of very similar to Minooka. They keep building up. Brand new home field for Yorkville, brand new turf. Yorkville's becoming a monster.
In that conference, they are. And they're always a tough out in the playoffs, too. This is going to be a tough for Plainfield South. But as we talked about Plainfield South, always tough kids, though. They've got tough kids.
Again, we'll take your calls, 815-254-7300. Joe, Romeoville at Oak Lawn. Justin Travato, very encouraged about this team and very encouraged about the direction the program's going, which was great to hear because a couple years ago, Joe, that was not the case.
They were having a hard time even getting kids out for football. I'm picking them tomorrow night at Oak Lawn.
Yeah. I think they could be a nice surprise story here. Your thoughts on Minooka and Rock Island? Again, I like Minooka. I really like them at home because it's such a great home atmosphere.
Right. And just talking to Matt, in the early part of the show. He sounds, as excited maybe as Matt can be. And again, as a head coach, you don't want to really say a whole lot, but I think
especially going against a team with a first-year head coach, you don't know what they're going to come out and throw at you.
Right. But I think it's a good matchup for Minooka, as we mentioned before. Last year, it's going to be kind of the same, like a Palatine maybe type speed to get them ready to move on and maybe get through more rounds of the playoffs.
One of two area coaches we haven't been able to connect to yet. We're going to resolve that at 7:40 when we have Tikas Pettigrew on from Bolingbrook. Haven't had a chance to talk to Anthony and Bordino yet, Joe, but we will as the season moves on. Yes. They host Lockport. Boy, that's a good opening game.
It sure is. Plainfield North lost a lot, especially offensively, some key guys offensively, but
a lot of injuries, though. That was the thing about last year. He had a lot of younger guys, but a lot of them wound up, some pretty serious injuries. They're all back. So we'll see. I think Lockport, as I said, he's got 7 starters back on defense. They got a chance, I think, to be pretty good this year.
I think so, too. That's why I'm picking Lockport.
We're going to have Tikas Pettigrew on at around 7:40 or so. They are on the road at Grays Lake Central. I got to ask him how this one came about.
This was Mike Maloney.
It was until Mike decided to take the AD job at Antioch.
Antioch, yes.
So he's working, which I believe he lives in Antioch. So, again, it was a great move for Mike. But maybe that is a connection. I don't know. Maybe it is. So we'll find out. Should be a great game, and we'll find out more about Bolingbrook this year when we have Tikas on. We talked earlier about Lincoln Way East on the road, 10 a.m. Saturday against Kenwood. St. Charles East at Lincoln Way Central. Joe, I think Coach Woodburn gets win 1 here.
I think so too. I mean, I've known Dave a long time.
Dave, I'm sorry.
Our days at Providence and under the tutelage of Coach Savonar all these years.
Did you teach him how to hit or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know if he's much of a baseball player. We'll have to ask him when we get him on the air. But new blood over there. And I think if he got guys to come out that maybe weren't thinking about coming out, I look for good things with Dave. I really do.
Speaking of Lincoln Way East, Greg out in Tinley joins us. Our friend out in Tinley Park wants to talk a little Lincoln Way Central. Hey, appreciate it, pal. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm retired now, so.
Well, then you're doing great. You're doing better than me.
It's good, isn't it, to be retired?
It's great. You got to make it up every day, but, as long as you keep active, you're okay.
Oh, I make it up. Believe me, I make it up every day, and I'm not retired, so.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to ask about Lincoln Way Central because I know they got a new coach, and he's got connections to Lincoln Way East, right?
Yes. Longtime assistant coach, coach under Rob Zvonar for quite some time. And, again, it's a program that, Joe, you'll I'm sure agree with this. There's a lot of good things in place at Central.
There is.
I mean, you've got a chance to turn that thing around, hopefully relatively quick and to start winning games. And, the negative of being in that district is look at who else is in that district surrounding you.
Right.
You have no choice but to be successful.
Yeah,
so
it's true. But I'll tell you what, I think the coaching change is a good thing because Cordell, I just never was happy with him over there. He had a good team for 2 years when them kids first came over from Lincoln Way East.
Yeah.
And I thought he should have done a lot more with that team. But I'm glad to see them make the coaching change. And there's talent out there in New Lenox. There's no doubt about it. And I know Minooka kids play football too. So, he's going to have some talent. I hope he makes a step up there.
Yeah, it's a good point. And believe me, we heard from many a Lincoln Way Central fan, Joe, that just we're not real happy with Jeremy Cordell, which is a shame because, as you well know, I've known Jeremy for years and the terrific guy. And Joe, he's actually down in Missouri now. He's actually down in Springfield, Missouri.
Okay.
Coaching. So, again, wish him the best of luck. But, yeah, you're right. You're right, Greg. It's a change that needed to be made.
Yeah, it's nothing personal against him or anything like that.
Yep.
It's just that, I don't know. There were some things I didn't like his strategy a couple of times, particularly in those playoff games that they lost. And I just think, he had his chance, and now they got this fella from Lincoln East, got a winning tradition behind him. I think they can do much better.
Well, what's really interesting is, and this is what I love when you get the new head coaches, and Joe, we talk about this all the time. And we talked about Manuka facing Rock Island with a brand new head coach. St. Charles East has no idea what coach is going to do when they come out. And to me, is if you're a fan and you're a Lincoln Way Central fan, you're dying to see what this team looks like and what changes and what are they running offensively and defensively. So that alone is worth going out and supporting them.
Right. I hope they have the balanced offense. I'd like to see that out there.
Yeah.
They can do both things. Well, we'll see.
No doubt about it. All right, Greg. Well, thanks for calling.
Thank you very
Don't
much,
be a
Greg.
stranger. You're always welcome.
Okay. Thank you. See you again.
All right, Greg. Greg drops off, and we appreciate his phone call. Joe, we also want to mention our friend Joe Curry over at the University of St. Francis. By the way, ranked 24th, I believe, in the preseason NAIA poll. So congrats to Joe and the Fighting Saints. They opened their season September 2nd at Busey Bank Field, or is it Stadium?
No, it's Busey Bank Field.
Joliet
Bank Memorial
Field,
Stadium.
Joliet Memorial Stadium, Busey Bank Field. Waldorf plays in Joliet. That is Saturday, September 2nd. I don't have it in front of me. I guess that's a 1 o'clock kickoff, probably, I would think.
Is their nickname's the Salad?
I don't know, Joe. Really?
It's
the best you can
couldn't
do.
resist that one. I just could not resist that
The best you can do. It's going to be a long year. All right, we're going to step aside and take a break. When we come back, we are going to learn all kinds of new things about the new head coach at Bolingbrook. Tikas Pettigrew will join us. Honor Thy Raiders. We will be back. This is the Week 1 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk Sports.
I can't wait for what's next. Even
right,
with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Pixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner. Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com. or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
It's Eddie Rudiger from the Rudiger Group at Baird & Warner, and Get Real with Eddie. I want to bring to your attention the Herbert Trackman Planetarium at Joliet Junior College. My son loves this. They offer free shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. It's perfect for stargazers. The show provides excellent astronomical instruction and entertainment for no charge. That's right, it is free on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. The planetarium features a 30-foot diameter dome, a new OmniStar digital planetarium projector. During the shows, you can enjoy sky tours using the projector and PowerPoint presentations covering a wide range of astronomical topics. For more information, please visit jjc.edu/planetarium. And for you educators out there, they are open for field trip bookings. So go to jjc.edu/planetarium.
Back to school means back to Citywide Mattress. Teen need their next bed, little one need a big girl or big boy bed. How about mom and dad needing more sleep for the hectic school year? Well, class is in session at Citywide Mattress. Save up to $800 on Beauty Rest Harmony Luxe. Save $900 on Beauty Rest Black. Don't be worked over by some chain mattress store. Get matched with the exact mattress for you and your family from our family at Citywide Mattress. Family owned for over 50 years at 700 West Jefferson Street in Shorewood and at citywidemattress.com. Citywide Mattress. We deliver a good night's sleep.
Hi, this is State Farm Agent John Wright. Every team knows the two-point play can be a winning move. That's why I can help you go for two by combining your home and auto insurance. It's a great call that saves you time and money. So go for the win and score savings by combining your home and auto with me, State Farm Agent John Wright. It's just another way we're here to help life go right. Call me, John Wright, at 815-725-5052 today.
You want a superior quality made window, right? Welcome to Window World. Welcome to my world. I'm Brian, local owner of Window World of Joliet. Call me today at 815-729-3100. We offer an unmatched variety of energy-efficient windows for every style and budget with unbeatable pricing and no hidden fees. Window World provides a pre-printed price list up front, and it only takes about an hour to get a quote. Financing is available for qualified applicants. Call or text 815-729-3100. 815-729-3100.
Pigskin Preview with EDGYTIM on 1340 WJOL.
And welcome back. It is the week 1 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. EDGYTIM along with the coach, Joe Rodriguero, and Evan Bredesen spinning the dials. We are attempting to contact Tikas Pettigrew, so we're hoping Coach will check that message. I just texted him. Hopefully we'll hear back from him right away. Joe?
Yes, sir.
We could talk about the new Bolingbrook Raiders.
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
Yes.
Again, as I told you this morning, I know they had texted out a kind of a video showing off the uniforms, what the new looks are, and sharp as ever.
Yep, as usual. As usual.
No doubt about it.
I feel like the uniform craze wasn't what it was like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, it died down a little
feels
bit.
like it slowed down a little bit.
Little bit.
There was like a season or two where everyone really got on the multiple uniforms, alternate uniform bandwagon, and I think a lot of schools found out it's a pain in the butt, man.
It's a lot of
to
money,
organize
too.
That many uniforms.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You got to collect them all.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason why Oregon can do that. It's called Phil Knight Nike money.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that's literally the reason why.
I mean, I'm trying to think, what are the trends now? I think it seems more helmet based now than it seems like it's uniform based. You know, it's hard to say. I mean, you know, I think the worst trend we ever saw in the history of football was the same colored number in jersey.
I
Horrible.
doing games on the radio. I absolutely hated that.
Every media person in the world just agreed with me
Coach
with that
Joe
statement.
and I had to do
That was
a
horrible.
Bolingbrook Lincoln Way East game once where I think East had black jerseys and blue numbers.
Yeah.
And Bolingbrook was literally white on white with like a gray outline for the number. You couldn't even see it. And it got to the point where I literally just started making up who was making catches.
Well, we remember.
Yeah, I know. Didn't we almost kind of do that in a state title game?
Against Lincoln Way East, we did. I think I gave AJ Henning about 47 carries in
It's
that
all right.
game.
AJ's a good kid.
When
He'll
you write
take
your
him.
book, that's got to be a chapter. The
Oh
press
yeah,
boxes.
there's no doubt.
The window was fogged.
I mean, I love Northern. Don't get me wrong. It's blue collar U. You know, they definitely do. They do more with less than just about a lot of other schools at that level. Oh, that press box has got to go, especially where we were in the machine gunner's turret from World War II.
the tail gunner.
Jesus.
Well,
There was an inch of water.
It even looks like one from the outside.
It sure does.
It's like, okay, we found this in a World War II storage place. Just
gonna put
attach it to the side of the press box.
For people who don't know, several years ago, the three of us, we did a Lincoln Way East state championship game at Northern Illinois. There was a crew in the booth before us videotaping who, for whatever reason, during a very heavy rainstorm, left the window open.
Of course they did.
So we went in to set up, and Coach Joe's not lying when he says there was about an inch of water on the ground. We literally couldn't put our equipment on the ground.
No.
The windows were completely fogged up. It was two-way glass. Water had gotten in between it. The stadium had a fog over it. And so we just were kind of just guessing along with the PA announcer who was touching the football when.
And where we were situated, we were all the way at the south end
Very
of the
end,
field,
yeah.
where we could barely see the other end of the field. It was raining so hard at night.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
We're still trying to get a hold of Tikas Pettigrew, the head coach of Bolingbrook, who was we had scheduled a 7:45 interview. So we got some time. So Tikas, if you're out there, give us a call, 815-254-7300. That goes for you as well. If you're out there listening, give us a call, 815-254-7300, and would love to wrap up this last segment with you. Any questions you have statewide?
Edge, before we get going, I got a text. You met my friend from Houston,
I did.
Texas, and I'm wearing the Longhorn hat for him, and he's listening to the show tonight from Houston, Texas, and we think it's hot here.
Yes, it
Go
is.
down to Houston, Texas.
It's hot there too.
It's been like that since April, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I have an interesting question.
Hey, Evan, they're supposed to be good this year, aren't they? Texas. I keep
Texas?
hearing Texas being brought up.
I keep hearing that.
I've been hearing it for 3 decades, but Alyssa Wishbone's coming back and Earl Campbell.
Vince Young isn't going to be in that backfield this year. I'm afraid.
Yeah. Go ahead, Evan.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about, we have 2 teams, Joliet Catholic, Providence. Joliet Catholic's going to Iowa. Providence is going to Indiana. Obviously, different states.
Yep.
You have different athletic associations, and each association has differences in their rules. I'm curious, as a coaching staff, how do you get up to speed on any possible rule changes, and how do you kind of prepare your players for, or is it not noticeable in any way going and playing in a different state?
Well, Coach Joe?
I think personally, most the national rules for football kind of are
kind of general.
The only thing I'm going to talk about is with the heat.
Everyone's different.
Everybody's different. Like
some states have no policy. Yes. Others, like ours, has all kinds of policies.
It's like the Chicago public schools.
More local.
I thought that the game that was supposed to be played tonight was going to be in jeopardy because I heard on Tuesday that they couldn't even practice because it was so hot. So if you're not going to practice, I think the game was in jeopardy, and rightfully so. They delayed that till Saturday. So I think football itself. I think what you do as a head coach, when you walk out, the referee comes up to you. You'd question and just say, is there anything different playing in Iowa? Is it in Illinois? Or all the rules basically the same?
Yeah,
it's up to the coach.
It's really up to the coach, and again, in more cases than not, like Providence has played Lake Central, Joe? At least 4 or 5 years in a row here. They've been playing them for a while.
Sure. They've been playing teams in Indiana.
So you're pretty much aware of it by now. And Dougie's, not Dougie, but Turnick.
Yeah, Dougie Turnick.
So your AD's well aware of what the deal is and what the differences are. And JCA, I'm sure the same. But I love when they do it. I really do. I know people get all bent on it. Say, you got to go play out of state. Go play out of state. Who cares? It's one game. Go test yourself. There's some great.
Been doing it for years.
East St. Louis. This might be the first year. No, actually, they're going to Alabama. I think in week 3, they're taking someone on down in Alabama. They're home next. They're at Illinois State this week. They're at home next week for the Classic. I think they're playing one of the St. Louis schools, and then I think week 3 they're down in Alabama. They're taking on a school in Alabama. Mm-hmm. But they do it all the time. I know Loyola is playing a very good team in Grand Rapids Central Catholic on Saturday, which is another power out of state of Michigan. So
week 2, they will be home for the Classic, playing a team from Baltimore, and then
that's Wheaton St. Francis.
Not
Wheaton St. Francis. That's St. Francis out of Baltimore.
Yeah, and then the week after, they actually go to Humble, Texas.
Yeah, yeehaw. So we'll see. It's again just. I like when they go out of state. It's different. You get tested. It's totally different.
Yeah,
totally different.
Yeah, for sure.
Scenario. All right, I think we're hopefully being able to connect with Coach Pettigrew. All right, we'll go out to the phone lines. Joining us, Joe, the brand new head coach of the Bolingbrook Raiders, Tikas Pettigrew. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, you're less than 24 hours. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Boys are excited. Our coaching staff is excited. I think we've been going at it for so long, beginning of the summer. Now it's kind of the haze in the barn. Now it's time to go execute.
Coach, a lot of people have been talking about Bolingbrook and you being I know you've been in the program for a little while and being a first-year head coach, and what's Bolingbrook going to look like, and it's pretty easy to kind of start out with that quarterback of yours, Jonas Williams.
Yeah, well, we have some really nice pieces, but I think everybody's been dedicated to put their hard hats on, get a lunchbox, and let's just go to work. I think that blue-collar mentality, even with the talent, it creates a workman's-like mentality, and it's radiant throughout the whole program. So we're excited about that.
Fill us in on your staff, some of the guys that you've brought on that'll be coaching with you this year.
Rob Aurelia he's coaching Montini. I think he's going to bring expertise to help assist with our new offensive coordinator, Alex McNulty. Young, energetic guy. The players kind of relate to him. He's played at Bolingbrook, went on to play in college, and came back. And like I said, he's doing great from a defensive standpoint. When it got Luke Mueller as a defensive coordinator, when he coached at Yorkville, he held teams to 19 points a game. So just looking to bring some more validity back to the defensive side of the ball with a lot of the players that we do have. I'd say our most energetic coach is going to be Don Bennett. He's our O-line coach. He's been here. He's also our weight room strength guy. So he's going to make sure everybody's revved up and ready to go.
I'm trying to figure out, how did the game against Grays Lake Central come about? Was that scheduled a while ago, or is it some kind of connection with someone in the building?
It wasn't even a connection. It was just that we kind of had some miscommunication between us and Maine South. And when that fell out, then it came down to Loyola and Grays Lake. Grays Lake has just reached out because they know we were looking for a first-round opponent.
Right.
So I just had a good conversation with their head coach and just understand what they're trying to do with their program. And he's first-year coach there, too. He's had a lot of success. I think he won a couple state titles, so he knows how to win. And I think the first game is always the unknown because you don't know what you're getting. But I think that makes it even more exciting.
Coach, talk about you mentioned your defense, and one guy I saw that I remember is Chris Ellen, I believe his name is. Talk about your defense a little bit.
I think they're going to be excited and fast. They're going to play fast, aggressive. Like I said, we had 6 sophomores last year. They got the experience. Now they're bringing that to the table as juniors. So the front line is 1 soft, 3 juniors. Got a junior corner, junior safety, but they've all played varsity. So they went through the growing pain. Now you get ready to see the maturity come out. So we're very blessed to have youth but experience. And then Chris Ellen is the ultimate leader. Like, if you ever wanted a captain between him and Jonas, I couldn't ask for 2 other better guys because they work in the weight room, they're vocal, and then they show it when we train and when we go execute in practice. So,
Coach, you've seen so many great athletes in and around that program and in that building. Kyan Barry Johnson is just an incredible player. I mean, how good is he in the big picture?
I would just say he makes the great catches so much on a regular basis. You just expect it. He literally takes balls from DBs in traffic, so he's exceptional, and he works too. So again, we have a multitude of positions that are ready to go and revved up. We're just excited to get out there and compete.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Coach, we're up against 8 o'clock hour. So again, want to thank you for hopping in.
Yes.
Welcome to the Will County football community. Welcome to, which obviously you've been a part of already, but as a head coach, wish you nothing but the best of luck tomorrow night. Go up to Grays Lake and go get a win, okay?
Yes. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much.
All right. Tikas Pettigrew joins us from Bolingbrook, and great to have him on. Evan, thank you very much for your hard work. Joe, yeah, whatever. I'll see you next week. This has been the Week 1 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Your